Welcome. We're now going to focus on ears. How to make different styles of ears. There's many possibilities. I'm probably going to show you 3 different methods. Basically 3 methods. And again, your creativity and imagination is, it's endless for puppetry. But hopefully, again, this will give you ideas and thoughts on how to take new ideas and form them or bring them to life for ears. Okay? There are different types of ways of doing ears. With Frankenstein, I used a method where I used the, which I'm just going to show you on the video. I used the model magic, where I formed, like I did in the earlier videos, I formed like around the top of his head. I used model magic, right? So I formed the ears. I made them a bit different because I intended to do that. And then I glued, spray glued, like I did for the head. Spray glue, around, and then I pressed the fabric on. And I had to do a little bit of sewing around the top or the bottom because of the leftover. And I just kind of wrapped the material on, and then I sewed it onto the head. So these are made out of model magic. Again, refer back to when I'm forming it onto the head for Frankenstein. It's the same idea or concept. I let them dry for at least 24 hours, and then I just took the same material, wrapped it around the ears. I put a little bit of black stuff inside the ears so it gives the impression of an indent, and then sewed them on like I would sew anything else on, the eyebrows or whatever. So that is one method of making ears, and you can make them bigger and larger. You can really get into a bit more detail using model magic. So that's why I like it. If you really want detailed ears, you could use it to some degree. The only problem is if you're going to cover it, you can't get too many details. So you get more details, but not too many, okay? Because the fabric, especially little grooves in that, the fleece will lose that detail just because it's thicker, okay? So that's one method. So using, again, model magic. White, I think, is one of the cheaper prices. That's all you need, especially if you're going to cover it. So again, model magic by Crayola. I know they sell it at kids stores, toy stores. You can also get it at Michael's craft store if it's still around by the time you see this video. But most craft shops will sell it in the kids section as well. Good stuff. Use it a lot. Okay? Lightweight, everything. I like it. The other method is using plain old foam. I talked about, again, in the hands area of the video on how to make foam round around the edges. As you can see, if you glue 2 pieces together or anything, even if you have one piece, you get, the flat side. Not very exciting. So you rub glue along the edge and then you pinch it close, especially if you're using contact cement. So you put the contact cement, let it kind of get tacky, and then you just simply squeeze this, and you end up with a bit of a round form. So that's good for ears and that. And a puppet, I need to say this is the first puppet I ever made, so it's not it's not my best work, but it gives you an example of using foam for ears. I did cover it with hair on the back. I probably do these ears much differently now that I'm more experienced, but it just gives you an idea of what an ear can look like. Ear can be you can use to use foam to shape it. I put them on a hinge on these ears, little dollhouse hinges or small hinges. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. And that's what gives them movement like that. You can also use springs. So, is it good for making, say, dragon teeth? Yes, it is. The only issue with that spoon is that it does break easily if it's not covered. So you will end up with, it possibly could break. So you got to be careful, okay? So anyways, there you go. This is another form. Again, I just cut out the foam. I had squeezed the edges to make it round. I added fur on the back, and I used the foam on the front. And there's other possibilities, but like I said, this gives you a pretty strong idea on where to go with using foam ears. Whoops, that one you can't see. I airbrushed it a bit around the edge to add a little bit of depth, kind of a gremlin look to him. And so there he is. And the last set of ears, his nose just came off. But the last set of ears, this is still pinned on some of these parts, so it must have caught my shoulder on it, are the ears on this, which I simply used cut out the Antron fleece. Here they are right here. They're not sewn on, but I cut out a pattern. Here's my pattern that I used right there. I cut out two of these. I flipped it, so I traced it once on the back and flipped it and traced it again, and I put them together. What are the teeth made out of? Oh, the first one I made, the purple guy, the teeth on the purple guy, it is foam, sculpted foam. Sculpted foam, which basically, sorry, I should talk it to the camera. Yes, it's just sculpted, then I airbrushed it a little bit to add it depth and just make it more realistic looking. Okay, so that's what I use. Okay, just carved it into a shape of a tooth, or basically it looks like a tree trunk stub after a tree's been cut down. That's what it basically looks like. It's got a little bit of a groove in the middle like a tooth would wearing out. But anyways, as you can see on this guy, his ears, they're not sewn on, but you can see what they look like. I added a little bit of weight. They're called plastic pellets, and they just look like little bean size, and they're plastic. And I wanted to add a little weight to them, and I might stuff the ears a little bit with just some stuffing. Not a lot, but just to give it a little more fullness to it. But I added the weight so that, you know, when he moves, the ears just won't kind of not move around a lot. I want them to have a lot of movement when he's moving his head. So so that's what I did with these ears. And I basically sewed, after I cut out the pattern, I sewed the two pieces together. And what I did was, what I'm planning to do, which I still haven't done, I folded it. Once the two pieces are together, I'm going to stuff them a bit. The beads are down here. And I'm going to fold it so it gives it some depth. And I'll probably use some coloring inside to add some pink or something inside the ear for him. So again, you can use just plain old fleece if you need droopy ears or something like that. And the thing I wanted to mention, and I think I said it and then kind of got off track, you can use little springs inside the ears as well. Let me see if I can find some very quickly. Oh, here it is. And you can insert these, especially if you're using the Model Magic. You can insert these little springs. Here they are right here. Right into the foam before it dries. Or you can drill it after it dries. And then drill and then glue the top a little bit in the ear. And then stick the little bit back into the head. And that will give you a bounce to the ears. So you really don't have to sew them into the head. You want to leave a little space. It's particularly better with furry heads, or there's something, you know, that's going to cause depth to the, you know, between the ear and that, so it covers up the small space. So when the head's moving, the ears will wiggle. And you see that, if you want a sample of what that looks like, on the Muppet Show, they have the pigs. Some of the pigs have a wire in their ears, so when their heads move, you can see the ears wiggle a little bit. Again, it's